Welcome. I'm your host, Elizabeth D'Orazio, joining you here at Valley Regional Hospital in their brand new urgent care facility. I'm joined by the CEO of Valley Regional, Peter Wright, and he's going to share with us the many initiatives they're bringing to the community to give us the highest level of care right here in our own hometown. Thank you for joining me, Peter.
My pleasure.
Now, there's been a lot going on the last couple of years at Valley Regional, and the most obvious is this new urgent care facility. Can you tell us more about that?
Certainly. Urgent care is really a market need, and it's growing throughout the country, but something that we identified through a strategic planning process would be key for Sullivan County. So we moved forward and looked at the different ways that you can provide that care and decided to use some space in our own facility that currently wasn't being used, and to bring urgent care to market. So it's been great. It's a little over a week old, open, if you will, but it's doing really well, and it's getting at the heart of what we're trying to do, which is to fill that gap in care between your primary care provider and the emergency department.
And that's one thing that's wonderful about community-based hospitals is really the needs of the community dictate where you go. And one of those things is you're bringing in additional doctors with services right here to the hospital at Valley Regional.
Absolutely. So we've been recruiting for 2 years, and part of our recruitment efforts have been to bring in new physicians from outside the community, mostly in the area of primary care. Mm-hmm. You know, there's just a need for more primary care in Sullivan County and all throughout New Hampshire. And the rest of our recruitment has really been circled around how can we partner with the other hospitals in our region. So rather than the old strategy of where we're going to recruit our providers, they're going to recruit their providers, and we're going to fight for market share,
right.
What we were hoping to do is, you know, really partner and bring high level of care, but only what we need. And so that partnership through Dartmouth-Hitchcock has allowed us to, our two organizations to get closer and allow us to bring the kind of world-class care of an academic medical center home in your own community.
And that's important. One of the things that people are often concerned with when it comes to medical issues is, are my records going to be, lost? Are they going to be all on the same page? But a relationship with Dartmouth-Hitchcock or with high-level providers like that eliminates that worry.
It does. I mean, it still means that your medical records are in two places. So, someone who receives care at Dartmouth at any one of their campuses will be in their electronic medical record, and someone who receives care will be in our electronic medical record. But the ability for us to transition information from one location to the other and do so with the same organization frequently makes things a little bit easier. We also have agreements that allow us to look into your medical record if you give us permission from Dartmouth, and vice versa. If you're at Dartmouth, they can get information from ours. So.
And community hospitals kind of offer that personal touch. The more you get to know the staff, the more that you're here, chances are you feel more comfortable sharing symptoms, because that's one thing that happens. People clam up,
Absolutely.
And you come here, but you can relax.
Right. I mean, unfortunately, what happens when many people get with their providers is they only share some information. Mm-hmm. They're maybe worried that, I haven't had the best diet, or I don't want to mention this because maybe it means something worse. And when you sit back and talk about it, it's obvious that that's silly. Your provider needs as much information about you and about the symptoms and about what's going on as possible to make the best diagnosis, and then to share what the options are for you. But, we tend to put providers up on a mm-hmm. top shelf, and so sometimes we're a little bit nervous about sharing all that. So we want folks to be comfortable. We want them to get care locally. A lot of times people ask me, where should I go for X? And my response is always, go to the smallest hospital possible.
Right.
There are a reason that there are small community hospitals and there are academic facilities. And while there's a lot of crossover between the two facilities, there are things that, an academic medical center is in place when someone's really, really sick. Mm-hmm. And that's where you want to go when, you need really advanced care. And,
most people, the everyday situations require more direct physician contact. So the community hospital is that option.
Right. distance is a big deal. So the reason that community hospitals are good for the patient and good for the community is we're local, we're easily accessible. You take transportation not completely out, but hopefully mostly out of the picture, and you're not forced to kind of cohabitate with people who are really ill. So the last thing you want to do when you're feeling a little bit sick is go somewhere where there are a lot of really sick people.
And hence the need for urgent care. So I want to thank you for joining us, and I want to encourage all of our viewers to check out the urgent care facility here at Valley Regional Hospital. In and out, first come, first serve for all those everyday medical instances.